How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing as good as that sexy haircut you got, my friend. That's how good I'm doing.
It's a couple weeks old, man, but yeah, it always feels good. Like when you go and you get that good haircut, that good beard trim and everything, and like you kind of get that new look, that first look in the mirror, the first time your girlfriend, your significant other sees you for that first time after it's been a long time. That's a good feeling, man.
Whoa, we were on last week. Did you have something covering it? I didn't even see
I had a hat on, but yeah, I had the cut.
I
was wearing a hat. Yeah.
I didn't notice with the hat, bro.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
You snuck it on me this week.
Yeah, I didn't even plan on it. I was man, it's been a long, busy day, dude. And I almost was like to the point where I was getting so close to the show, like not being prepared. I'm like, man, I don't want to cancel, but should we?
What was it supposed to be? Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then finally Monday, we were like, all right, we're going to get this show. And we had it was like, we're going to have a guest on. Oh, no, that didn't work out. Well, we'll do a mock draft. Oh, no, we have a better idea. Like, it's been a crazy one, but it'll be worth it.
I think this show sheet's going to be good, man. I'm excited for this discussion. I know I say that every week, but I really do think this is going to be a good discussion tonight, man.
I agree. And like I said, we set up a mock draft. I did a mock draft for the first round, which I was going to do anyway. And he was like, oh, we'll try to work it in. And I'm like, forget the mock draft. This is a good discussion. That was just a in case, situation,
Yeah. Mike, shout out to our guys, Jason Garrett. He's complimenting the haircut, and our other boy, Jordan Stack, who also complimenting the hair. Appreciate you, Jordan. Appreciate you, Jason, man. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling.
Yeah, but it's funny they say that, Mike, because you were just talking about how your coworkers were talking about complimenting your hair.
Yeah, the hair compliment's nice, man. It feels good. It really does.
Dude, every time I go get a haircut, every woman that's ever cut my hair, wow, you've got great hair. You've got such nice hair. Man, I'm so jealous of your hair.
I get that, and I didn't realize the shaving it off thing was an issue until the homegirl Lolly told me. So thank you, Lolly. I know you're not a football fan, so there's no way in the world you're watching this unless you're weirdly obsessed with me. In that case, what's up, girl?
Hey, Lolly. I hope you're weirdly obsessed with Mike. We need all the viewers we can get, Lolly. Hey, just because you're not a fan of sports, I feel like we talk about enough food and other things to where somebody like this show's kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just that to start it, you see across the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So you're going to be something, football wise, something, a hater from,
right.
Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan, something like that. And then you realize they're like, half the show is food and movies.
I know, right? Well, Mike, let's get into this discussion. You mentioned we were supposed to have a guest on that didn't work out, and it's been a couple of weeks, and it's been me and you. And like I said, I'm excited for the discussion. Before we get into that, remind the people or let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
I'll first of all, I'll take that. Tom's right? A handsome older man, so I'll take it. At CD Piglet, guys. I'm gonna change my name to Tom Selleck stand-in.
And guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, Mike, we haven't recorded on Monday in a long time either. And of course, we start off every Monday episode with Meatless Monday. But this Monday, yesterday being Easter, it's usually a good food day for the people that do celebrate it. I'm curious, what was your Easter Sunday spread? I know you were making the beans, and was it cherry pie?
It was a banana cream pie.
Oh.
Which, do we really want to get into a banana pudding?
Oh, man.
I just watched that. That came up on a memory just not too long ago, and I was like, oh, my God. It was, I'm not even joking. It might have been, it's in the discussion for the best meal I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
Good. And I felt like while the pie was up there with elite, I felt like the beans were very good. It was like, I told him, I go, it's not a diss. It's like the beans were 9.5 and everything else was a 10. Like the beans were good, but I thought Stephanie, Muhammad's wife's corn, elote, she made elote and made like twice baked potatoes. I thought they were both better than the beans. I thought the tri-tip Muhammad made was He made a teriyaki one and like a spicy dry rub one. But it wasn't like you took one, you're like, oh, this is good. Yeah. Like every bite you ate, you're like, this is my favorite thing. This
right.
It was, And oh no, we're not talking about. Nope, I am not eating your cream pie. Banana cream.
Yes.
Banana cream.
Emphasis on the banana. Wait, yes. No, maybe not.
No, that doesn't work. We're talking about desserts. No matter how you frame it, when you say banana cream pie, it's just gonna come off as X-rated. It's just
you don't put that in the Google.
No, you don't. Don't name the show something about cream pie because our show will never come up.
I will, definitely make sure to not do that. But man, the twice baked potato, Mike, dude, I don't get those very often, but when I do, it's like, why don't I eat these more often?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. And it was elite, but the elote. Have you ever had elote? The corn,
bro, here in Tejas, my wife introduced me to elote, and I mean, I love corn. I loved corn before, but after having elote, I was like, I wish I could just have it this way every time.
It was. I told her I was like, when the Fresno State corn comes out, and I buy like 100 ears of it. I said, you're gonna show me exactly how you made this. Not how you make it, not a recipe, what mayonnaise you used, how much you put on it, what type of cheese you use, what type of spice. Like, did you use McCormick's paprika or I want to know the details of this corn, and I will have it when I get the Fresno State corn, and I am going to destroy. It was remarkable.
So was it on the cob or was it like the kernel? Oh, man. I will say, actually, I had that one time. It was like chili at Chili's. We had like they used to offer this street because they have pretty good corn, like their traditional corn with the seasoning. But at one point, they had a street corn that was surprisingly good, and that was the only time I've had a elote on the cob. No, it was on the cob.
Oh, so good.
But yeah, man, I've never had I've only had elote in a cup. I've never had it on the cob except for that time at Chili's, but that doesn't really count. But man. I bet that's got to be a different taste in itself.
It's so good, man. Everything was good, but I will forever remember that corn and the cream pie.
So the beans, were they like a barbecue? Were they char?
They were ranch style beans. So
man.
So what happened was I was in charge of the dessert, and they know that I put I make the crust one day. Bake it, set it. I make the pudding. I make the whipped cream homemade. I take chocolate and shave it off on top, like all that. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, well, you just do that. And then they told another person who's coming, bring the ranch beans. But I knew they'd just be canned bought beans. And I'm like, with everything we're making, I don't want no canned beans. Nobody's going to eat them. So I told him, I have all this stuff already. I'll just make some homemade ranch beans. So I made them, and they were unbelievable. They were great. It's just comparatively, It's like Steve Smith and Jerry Rice. Nobody disses Steve Smith. Jerry Rice just happens to be the greatest. So you're not really saying Steve Smith isn't any good.
Right.
He just wasn't Jerry Rice. Like that's basically what I'm saying. Like the beans were fantastic. They just,
Jason, I would agree with you, man. But it was a lot better to me back in the day. And I recently found out about a month ago that they got rid of their traditional like chicken crispers, which were iconic, like best probably chicken crispers in my opinion. And they got rid of those, but that Cajun chicken pasta still hits. And that skillet queso. When's the last time you ate at Chili's, Mike? I feel like that was the last resort type of place for you.
That's what it was. I think I've been twice ever in my life, and it was like everything else is closed. The Chili's, Applebee's stuff, not that I don't eat it because I like Applebee's wonton tacos, but Chili's and Applebee's is like going out fast food. Does that make sense?
Like sit down fast food?
Yeah, it's better than fast food. Don't get me wrong. It's why we go there. When it's last resort, you go there instead of like Taco Bell. But it's still like, it's not really, I don't go to Olive Garden a lot. I've been to Olive Garden a few times. I don't, and it's good. The food's good, but it's not something I go out of my, like, all right, this week's, I'm going
Oh
to
no,
going to
gosh, no.
Applebee's. So
Yeah,
it's been a minute. It's been a while since I've been to Chili's. Years.
I've Chili's is like, okay, we haven't eaten in a while. We need to stop somewhere. This is actually what happened with me and my wife. We were coming back from our little road trip, and we're like, we're starving. Baker needs to get out of the car. Okay, let's stop at Chili's. We can share something, and we'll be good to go. Get a cheap meal, share a burger. Like, I would never go there for an anniversary or take somebody like out of town there, or you know what I mean. I wouldn't go there and get a steak. It's not like that, but they have some things on the menu that I was like, hey, this is better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, for people like me that I do not eat fast food.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if I have to go out somewhere, a Chili's or Applebee's, like, this is not fast food. It's prepared food. It's good food.
Yeah.
It's just, you if you're going out, you prefer to go somewhere a little bit more elevated.
Yes.
But they're not bad. Outbacks and Applebee's and Chili's. And if they want to sponsor, I'll be like, I go there every week. And
I want my baby back ribs, baby. Dude,
we'll delete this episode.
Applebee's it's a great place to get cheap drinks and then to get like some good appetizers, half price.
The wonton tacos hit, dude.
For real, they really do. And they have good cheese sticks. I mean, I know it's hard to mess up mozzarella sticks, but they seem to always get them right every time.
Yeah,
spinach artichoke dip.
Cheese sticks can be messed up though. If they're not cooked a right amount of time, they come out cold and the cheese isn't like melting.
Hard.
If there's no cheese pull, a real one too, not like the cheese is still solid because it wasn't cooked enough, it could be messed up. You'd be surprised.
It's sad when they get messed up, but yes, you're absolutely right. We got some comments here and we'll move on. I know we probably lost a couple of people. Y'all right in Dallas. Y'all right in Dallas. I don't know what you mean by that, Jason, Mr. Garrett, but let's talk some football here, Mike, and we're gonna talk some rookies here. And when we were discussing the show sheet, I thought this would be a good discussion to have. But you look at this rookie quarterbacks. Who do you think should go number one overall?
It would be CJ Stroud for me. It's funny because I actually think that Young might be a little bit better quarterback right now. Just all in all, like a processor, mover in the pocket and everything. But it's close enough to where the size, I am going to go, okay, I'm going to take a little bit lesser quarterback right now who I know is built to last in the NFL. You just see injuries. I mean, Dak's a big dude, and he got, and he's getting injuries every year now. It's just so giving me a 5'10", 200-pound guy, I'm going to take, I think Stroud's 6'3", Alabama, so he's played in big games. He's a damn good prospect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go CJ Stroud, even though I don't technically rate him the highest. It's so close that the size would be determining for me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, because the only question about Bryce Young is his size, where CJ Stroud is just like, I don't know, people, I don't want to say seem bored with him, but it's like there's no questions about him. They just wonder, how good is he? Like, what is his ceiling, it seems like. Yeah,
that sometimes you get bored when you get a prospect that checks every box. Now, this guy's not Trevor Lawrence. He's not Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Is there bust potential? Absolutely, but it's low. And the bust potential on Young is only his size.
Exactly.
I would bet money on him if he was 6'2" or 6'2" to 6'5". I would be like, that's my next guy. He's that level of QB. Just, it does worry. I know a lot of people think all this and that, but I mean, look, Russell Wilson, when he had a great defense, was good enough to win some games and stuff. The minute that went away, he hasn't been the same. Kyler Murray just is not very good. The Drew Brees is the one that's the standout and the unique and different one.
That's a good one.
And can Bryce Young be Drew Brees? And he's 2 inches smaller. So, it's tough. I would, if you gun to my head made me bet, I would say yes, but that he would be a great QB. He would end up being a great QB. But if I'm taking the risk, give me the guy that's just there like this. And then I know his size, fits what I would want overall.
Yeah, you think about you mentioned the Bryce Young potentially being a bust. I feel like the only way he would be a bust is if he was just injured year after year and it proved that his size was the difference maker.
I agree 100%. The only way he'd be a bust is through durability.
So, I know you said if it were you would take Stroud. So I guess, again, if you were the GM of the Panthers, is that who you're taking? Or are you, or maybe going with some upside with Anthony Richardson, Mike?
I really like Anthony Richardson too. His problem is he just hasn't played a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the thing with those two. All three guys, honestly, tape-wise, I think it would go, if you made me rank them by tape, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
But by how I'd take them, Richardson has an argument, and he has a cannon. He's really mobile, and he just doesn't have experience. Like, he's the type of guy that back before QB became what it is.
Yeah.
It would be a guy that you'd get in the third round, like a Russell Wilson back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little bit of a risk, but he didn't have a lot of experience. Or Bryce Young would be a guy that you would get in the third round because of his size. And Stroud's the guy that would always go first overall.
Right.
He has all the other stuff and the size and the experience and played Alabama. But now with the way the quarterback is evaluated, Levis might go fourth. Your first four picks might be QBs, and Levis has a lot of question marks.
Right.
So it's just how the position is. You can't risk. You get a guy like Chase Young, who's a monster, a pass rusher, even if he was healthy, and was Micah Parsons like, you would still go, damn, but they missed on Justin Herbert. You know what I mean? Because QB's that important.
Right.
So, that's the crazy thing. I would like Richardson to be a guy back in the day that you got in the third round. And then you had 4 or 5 years to build a beast around him, and you probably win a Super Bowl or two, but getting him where you get him, it's just it's different when you get them in the top 5 picks.
Yeah, because people are so willing now to gamble on that upside, that athleticism.
Yeah, you have to. It's the position.
Exactly. So, I know I can kind of guess who your number one quarterback is, Mike, but rank these rookie quarterbacks for us, your top 5.
Top 5.
I feel like it's pretty easy because it seems like after Hendon Hooker, there's nobody.
Yeah, that basically is it. It would be. Do you want on tape or how I would draft them?
How about how you would draft them?
All right, CJ Stroud. Damn, that's tough. Because Bryce Young's so good that I don't want the size to be that much of a factor.
Yeah.
But I would probably go Richardson and then take the best quarterback of the 3.
Yeah.
Take him third, and then Hendon Hooker, and then Will Levis. That would be the way I would draft them, those 5.
Would you rather have Hendon Hooker or Will Levis if you were building your franchise?
Hooker. Will Levis just he reminds me of the Josh Allen type of player, but Josh Allen also had didn't come out with the character issues that Will Levis seems to be having right now. And the latest thing with him with videos eating like a rotten
banana
hole and that's like, why are you doing that? It has nothing to do with the banana or anything like that. Like, why are you putting that out there? Why does that need to be out there for you? Like, why do you have the need to post that? And for quarterback, that stuff matters, man. I love that comparison. Jake Locker, good comparison.
Big arm guy, but does he understand the game?
You got to lead. Dak Prescott, for all we say about him, in his 7 years, his biggest thing has been a leader. And what do we all want? We all want him. A big portion of us want Dak to win as much as we want the Cowboys to win.
Exactly,
because of everything he's been through, the type of leader he was. Andrew Luck, same way. Take a hit, great job, get up, and then you have the Titans guy, Tannehill. where he would get mad at defenders at practice for intercepting him, and the coaches had to like tell him, "Hey, don't pick off his pack." Like, no, that's never gonna work. Like you have to be a leader, number one, and that my biggest miss on Jalen Hurts is here and here.
Oh.
Like he never came in with me thinking he had the talent to do it. He's just not an accurate enough passer, even compared to the Dak Prescotts, who people were like, well, he has a big enough arm, but he's not very accurate. Even there was between Hurts and Dak, there was a like, yeah, but Dak's, Hurts has got some issues. He's more of a runner for sure. And guys like that just know how to, they take that, they internalize it, and they build it. And I know the people, his team. When the Tennessee Titans went man up and said, you still have to make the throws where A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard can make the plays. You still have to make them. And see, he had to get that ability. He had to learn it. He had to train it into him. His footwork, his touch, all that stuff. So, that type of stuff, your leadership and your heart means a lot at that position.
Yeah, it is kind of weird now that you mentioned the Will Levis recent video. Like, more often than not around this time, you see rookie quarterbacks or any NFL player in the offseason posting workout videos, things like that. This guy's just eating a banana. It's like, I don't know, man. It's weird.
And those workout videos are more agents.
Scouts, yeah, hyping up.
They're doing this guy. This is him sitting in front of a thing going, I'm making this video to put out to the world. Like, why?
Yeah, very true. Let's see, Jason Garrett. Dak always looked a little funny throwing because he's short and stocky.
Yeah, he did. He was built bigger. Like, he was built like somebody that was going to run all the time because he did that a lot in Mississippi State. But to Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett's credit, and the team at the time had built such a great offensive line around Romo, they kind of beat him to him that rookie year. Just stay it out, dude. You're nobody's getting to you with this offensive line. Just stand. Don't cause sacks. And he's taken that forward through his career. He is to detriment. Sometimes a lot of us are sitting there going, run the 5 yards for the first down. Just run and extend the drive.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing one-on-one, trying to let Gallup make a play, down the field.
Yeah. Shout out to Scott Linehan. We haven't heard that name in a long time.
Well, bad offensive coordinator, but he did help Dak that rookie year. He really did.
So, Mike, looking at this rookie quarterback class, do you view any of these guys as franchise quarterbacks?
Yeah, honestly, I think the potential for I wouldn't bet on Levis, but Hooker, Young, Stroud, and Richardson.
Yeah.
I would bet on all those guys. And Richardson's a worry because of his lack of experience.
Yeah.
And Young could get, durability issues. But if you made me bet those four guys, I would lean towards the side of them all being franchise QBs.
I don't know much about Richardson, but I don't know. He with that ability and that kind of talent, man, I feel like he's somebody where in the right situation, man, motivated, he's going to work out.
I would have loved him to stay in one more year.
Right.
But the draft, the QB pool next year could be really insanity. And so I can understand an agent, and a coach and a family going, nah, this is the year to go out, dude. You got a chance to be a top 3 quarterback this time.
When you look at Anthony Richardson, if you were to go to the Colts, do you think that's kind of being set up for failure, or could be better than we think?
Man, I seen that owner take a guy like Andrew Luck and make him like get beat down to where he left the league.
Retired early, exactly.
Like,
dude.
I don't trust that. That ownership is like Dallas prior to Mike McCarthy. Like, there's hopes and wishes and the Matt Ryan stuff, but they just are not good at building winners since Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning is one of those Mahomes types.
Yeah.
That no matter what you do, you get rid of Tyreek Hill and bring in Scanling, and he's like, that's cool, we'll make it work. Like Manning's one of those type of guys. So they're kind of on the outs. You can't count it when you have one of those.
Right.
Okay, what do you do now that there's no all-time, maybe the best ever, like playing that position? So it makes it different. I don't trust the Colts, and if they got Will Levis, that might be a nightmare scenario.
Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely. So obviously quarterback is going to be taking number one overall this year, and it usually is. But is there a non-QB player in this draft that you would take number one overall?
The funny thing is I had written down Jalen Carter but my thing was pre all the stuff that happened. Now, obviously, you can't. But thinking about it, I don't think I would. Not over these quarterbacks here, because the position. 3 technique is a big thing, but even if he was no off-field issues and he was just the Georgia defensive tackle, I think I still, if I needed a QB, obviously, I think I'd still go Stroud over Carter. He has the size, Alabama. He has all the stuff you need. He ticks all the boxes. I would put my money on that, Now, once you get in the, people hear this go, he ended up being a bust. Well, yeah, you don't know what Carolina's going to put around him, what Carolina's coaching staff's going to do with him. You have no idea. Tannehill's an example, completely awful in Miami, goes to Tennessee where the coach is like, shut the hell up and just do what you need to do. And he goes to the playoffs and looks like a starting NFL quarterback,
Reborn,
Yeah, it all depends on where you go. But if you made me bite the bullet, I would say I'd go Stroud probably over anybody. Now, if somehow some team that had a quarterback and got injured and they ended up, like Spurs, where Tim Duncan came out and they had their QB, would I just say, okay, I'll take Jalen Carter? I would probably try to trade down then instead of picking. And that's the way I look at it. Would you take the QB or trade down, or would you take the player? I would rather have the QB or the trade down than even Jalen Carter. So I'd say no, nobody's worth a first round this year.
You know what? Number one overall, usually it's going to be a quarterback, obviously, but then sometimes it's an edge player or it's like a franchise tackle. But when the players in those positions this year, it seems like that group is clustered where there's no clear-cut number one edge or left tackle. Am I crazy, Mike, or am I
correct? And that was my whole point about the Carter was he's a defensive tackle. If Jalen Carter was that guy as an edge, you'd be like, oh yeah, but he's not, and so it's just not as impactful. So you're dead on.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel good, Mike, because I know you studied a lot of these guys. Who is your favorite edge? Just real quick.
Damn, that's tough because they all have their issues. I like Tyree Wilson.
Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
I like him on potential, and I like Nolan Smith as far as like overall impact. But I think the Alabama kid Will
Harris, or no, Will Anderson, right?
Will Anderson, yeah. I think he's going to be a good all-around defense. Like he reminds me of like a Greg Ellis. We're not unhappy with him as a player, but he's not a guy I want to take in the top 10.
Right.
I feel like that could be him. Whereas I feel like a kid that Dallas fans have been Quinn likes, McDonald. McDonald can't play the run at all, and he might be a guy that doesn't even play a lot on first downs and a lot of second downs, but could end up being in 5 years when he builds in his body and stuff. You go back and go, damn, this guy went in the end of the first round or early second round. How'd that happen? Because he's such an elite pass rusher, and there's not a lot of for sure good pass rusher in this draft. Like all of them have question marks.
I hear you. So, Lamar Jackson, he's still out there, Mike. If you're Carolina, would you trade 1-1 for Lamar Jackson? Obviously, you still have to pay the guy, but just to get that conversation started.
That's my thing. I have to not only give up my pick and probably another, but let's just say it was straight up. You have to give up that pick, and then I have to pay the guy. And you can see right now the whole issue is he wants to be number one most guaranteed money, more than Deshaun Watson got. It doesn't have to be fully guaranteed, but he has to have more guaranteed than Watson. And I'm not doing that for the type of player that Lamar Jackson is. There's just no way. And he's already showing durability issues.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not doing that. I'll take my chances with one of these young QBs. Paying once you pay the quarterback, it makes it hard to build around is the word, but a lot of teams win more. You could see that other than Brady and Mahomes, you win more when you have a rookie quarterback that's good and you spend money around him. And so I'll take that formula over trading for Lamar.
Okay, but let's just say he had 2 years left on his deal. He was getting paid like $20 million. Do you trade 1-1 for Lamar Jackson if you're Carolina?
I'm not, but I'm kind of biased. I'm not a big Lamar fan. I don't find him that great. He's unique.
Yeah.
I don't find him that great. And now he's been injured lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wouldn't personally.
Man, if he were to get traded to Carolina, that would easily be the best receiving weapons that he's had for his career, I would think.
For sure. The Ravens now with Odell, Bateman, and Mark Andrews.
No, that's solid.
Solid. If assuming Odell Beckham isn't like a shell, we all assume that he's at least somewhat of himself.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess I'm a risk taker. I like Lamar obviously more than you, and a lot of people probably in Cowboys Nation. So I would definitely trade 1-1 for Lamar because. Man, he's the all-pro former MVP, dude. Those guys they don't grow on trees, man, It's
true. It's just it's a unique way you have to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
That's my issue. Like that's the thing that I want to see. That's my question mark now about Hurts going forward.
Mm-hmm.
If Lane retires, you lose another offensive lineman in the draft, and you need to sign Devontae Smith in 2 years, and so AJ Brown gets traded. Now, does he develop enough to be the passer you need to be, or does he still have to rely on the feet? And if that's so, can you win that way? And I don't know. And that's why I worry about paying the Lamars. And I still, even though I'd put Hurts in my top 5 QBs right now, I'd still going forward. I'd be like, well, I want to see it, I want to see him do it 3 years,
So, Mike, forgive me because I thought I had asked the next question should be, what would you feel comfortable paying Lamar? But I don't have that on the show sheet. Did I end up sending that, or do you have something different?
I have which team would be best for Lamar Jackson is mine.
Okay, so not which team would Lamar make a contender?
Yeah, that's it. Which team would best make him a contender? Yeah.
I guess I didn't add that question, but we can discuss that here in a little bit. But which team do you think is Lamar away from being a contender?
The Niners would be.
Oh my goodness, dude, that'd be so filthy. That'd be a dynasty, dude.
That is scary. Scary if they got Lamar. And I'm not a Lamar fan, but the way Shanahan runs the ball, adding him in, the way he gets people open, like you want to talk about, he makes things easy for the Brock Purdy's and Jimmy Garoppolo's of the world. I'm not saying Lamar is those guys. I'm just saying I'm not paying him the most guaranteed money.
Right,
he's not some mid quarterback. Like he's unique. Well, what team could use that more than it? Oh my Lord. Can you even imagine with Christian McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and Kittle and that defense?
I would actively root for the Niners. Of course, not over the Cowboys, but if Lamar were on the Niners, I'd be like, man, this team is so fun, and I want to see them win.
I would actively root for them to lose every game because I do not want them to make the playoffs. I'd be like, somehow, some way, do not win because I would not want to see them in the playoffs.
Imagine Cowboys, Niners in the playoffs, 3rd year in a row, Dak versus Lamar, but Dak winning.
Oh, if they could beat, that's going to take some work, though. I mean, this team currently would not beat the Niners, Lamar. We're closer.
Yeah.
We're a better team.
But how
But
incredible
the
would that
O-line
be, dude?
skill's not there. They need another O-line. They need another weapon. And then we can talk.
Our defense might be able to beat Lamar.
Our defense is as good as Niners. The defense is not the problem. The defense is good. The problem is when Dallas's defense goes up against the Niners, they shut down Debo and they shut down Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle goes, okay, then I'll get 100 yards. And on Dallas, they shut down Tony Pollard, they shut down Lamb, and Noah Brown. It's just not the same. They're 3-4 people deeper than us. They have Elijah Mitchell coming off their bench. They have Brandon Ayuk as a wide receiver too. They have stuff everywhere. Same with Philly. Their O-line and Brown and Goddard and Smith and Quez Watkins. And, we're just not competitive offensively. Now, Brandon Cooks helps. Brandon Cooks helps. Now you need to go get another offensive lineman to the Tyron Smith protection. Yeah. And then you need to get another weapon.
Oh no, man! I'd like to see Michael Gallup 1 year removed from the injury, man, too, with the addition of Brandon Cooks, and an improved offensive line,
Yeah, me too. The offensive line is the key.
So yeah, honestly, dude, I think Lamar makes the Panthers a contender when you think about that defense, and then the addition of Adam Thielen, Terrace Marshall, and then they went out and got DJ Chark and Miles Sanders. I believe they've got a pretty solid offensive line. I know they drafted a franchise, I believe. I don't know if he was right tackle or left tackle last year. I don't remember the guy's name, but I think that Lamar definitely makes them the favorite in the NFC South.
Yeah, they got Lamar. I agree. None of the other teams have QBs.
Now, I know I mentioned, this team earlier, but I even think that Lamar would make the Colts a favorite in the NFC South. I know the Jaguars are better, but I think they could be the 7th seed.
I don't think they would be the favorites over the Jags, but they'd be contenders for wild card. The Jags could be really good next year.
Dude, they're going to be so freaking good, dude.
I know. I imagine that team, if they end up drafting like a Michael Mayer, the opposite of Evan Ingram, type of inline blocking. Hey, Lawrence, this guy's going to get you a first down on 3rd and 4. Just look for him in their Witten type.
And then Calvin Ridley too.
Oh, dude, their quarterback's legit. He was the highest rated guy I've done since Andrew Luck. Trevor Lawrence is legit. Don't let Urban Meyer's foolish year fool you. Trevor Lawrence is legit.
Yeah, he proved it last year, especially the second half of the season in the playoffs, that he is that guy.
Yeah, he is.
All right, Mike, you mentioned Brandon Cooks, of course. We have CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup returning from injury, but do the Cowboys need another receiver?
Need is the word. Going into 2023, I'd say no. They don't need it. You look at it, they have CeeDee's locked in wide receiver 1, Brandon Cooks locked in wide receiver 2. They can go up against whoever is best duos in the league. They're in it's not like anybody would go like, oh, what? Like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You could put them ahead. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, put them ahead.
Oh.
But you wouldn't be like if somebody said I'd put Dallas number 1, I wouldn't be like you're an idiot. I would have other ones above, but they're in that conversation.
My number 1 would be Tyreek and Jalen Waddle personally.
That's I love Jalen Waddle. So because Tyreek's there, he's so underrated. God, he's good.
So good.
But you have him, and then Michael Gallup. We've seen him be a 1106 guy pre-injury.
Yeah.
When the wide receiver core wasn't, elite either. They weren't as good as they've been in other years. And if he comes back, he could be really good. Tolbert, a year out. There's no way I'm considering that guy a bust. The coaching staff, the player, the agent, the scouts have all said they kind of messed him up. Now, would you rather have him be able to overcome it? Yeah, but he's from South Alabama, and they put too much on his plate, and they asked him to take a year to learn X, Y, Z out of the backfield. Like basically they wanted him to learn positions everywhere so they could use him all over the field. And it was too much for him. And so he got an off season. He's at the DAC yard now. Turpin, I want to see what they can do with him. Fiocco has some speed. Can he add anything on a contract year? They have enough stuff there to where this season coming up, you go, nah, we don't need it. If you need anything, there's an injury and you go get a T.Y. Hilton. That's it. Now, does that mean I wouldn't draft one at 26? Absolutely not. If the right guy fell and you need weapons and there's injuries, I'll tell you one thing about this team. CeeDee Lamb goes down, they get very weak. Then,
oh my God.
You could survive a Cooks or Michael Gallup going down. You could survive it. You lose a CeeDee Lamb for 5 weeks, and you're going to be in trouble. So, yeah, at 26, I don't think it's a need, but I would say if you could draft it, you can upgrade because going into the future, Cooks is 1 year, Simi Fiocco's 1. I know Cooks is 2, but realistically, he's 1 year. Same with Fiocco's 1 year. We don't know. Gallup could be, if he doesn't show improvement, he could be a cut candidate in a year or two. Like, that guy ain't making it to us, Garrett. JSN is not. He's the only clear round 1 receiver in this draft. He will be gone in the top 20 picks.
Yeah, I would imagine if Houston takes Stroud at number 2, then they'll probably take JSN with that following, with their next first round pick.
If he got there, absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned CeeDee Lamb going down for 5 weeks. I don't know why, but not that I have any reason to be this confident in him, but with Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, and then Jalen Tolbert as your 3, I would hate to see CeeDee Lamb go down, but I would be like, man, I'm kind of curious to see what Jalen Tolbert's going to do here. You know what I mean?
He better do something because if he can't, you're in real trouble.
Yeah. But I mean, then you still have Gallup, who in a bigger role. That'd be nice to see. That'd be interesting to see how they handle all that. Because one thing that you can't say anything bad about McCarthy is his ability to overcome injuries and adversity. You know what I mean?
But he might be the best I ever seen at that. He really is phenomenal. He's a damn good coach. Like, this is not a Jason Garrett situation. McCarthy elevates this team. He really does.
He absolutely does. You mentioned JSN being the only rookie, no doubt a first round wide receiver, Mike. It's really the talk has been JSN, Quentin Johnson, but who are your top 5 rookie wide receivers?
Mine would be, I have JSN as my 1. These are my guys. I'm not saying that they're the highest rated, but they're my guys.
Just give us your guys.
I feel like I'm gonna miss one. I love JSN, Jalen Hyatt. I love Hyatt, and I know he doesn't do a lot, but I'm thinking for Dallas.
Yeah, okay.
You put Jalen Hyatt's speed in this lineup and let him be the not to be trite. Mike White talked about it today. Michael Gallup didn't come in as a go-get-it guy.
Yeah.
He was a crossers, break tackles guy. They turned him into the deep threat guy because they had CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Dalton, and they needed a guy to just go deep. And so he became that. Imagine that guy being Hyatt. Woo! Woo! I love him.
With the speed, man.
Oh, Ness, they need it too.
Yeah.
I know I have Quentin Johnson's in there. I forgot to write it in my notes.
Is Jordan Addison in your top 5?
Oh, Jordan Addison is above. That's it. Okay. JSN, Jordan Addison, Jalen Hyatt, Quentin Johnston, and I wish I wrote these down. I had
Zay Flowers,
but I forgot to. No, Zay's not.
Josh Downs.
No, he's not either. I'm missing one guy. Oh, Marvin Mims.
Oh, okay.
Marvin Mims.
I think, man, if we drafted him in the 3rd, if Brandon Cooks were to go down, I don't think would be hurting at all, dude.
No, I don't believe Marvin Mims makes it. I think he goes in round 2.
How would you feel about taking him in round 2, though?
I wouldn't mind at all, depending on what they got in, who they drafted at first. Like, you trade back and say they trade back to 35, take Avila. and they pick up a third rounder, and then they get Marvin Mims at 58, and then they have 2 third-round picks. Sign me up. Helping the offense, which is the weak point. And then in the third round, you could go running back and linebacker, where the values are better for those. You could, I don't really, if you're not getting one of the top couple of tight ends, like one of the top 3, maybe 4 or 5, I don't really want one. So if you're not getting it at 26 or 58, maybe you get one like in round 5 or 6, but I don't really want to take a third round, fourth round tight end unless something like Laporta or something Musgrave dropped to there somehow,
Yeah. What happens if here comes pick 26, Jalen Hyatt's the name that gets called? How are you feeling?
I would be, and I know that a lot of people would not be happy with that, but I tell people like Will McDonald, yes, there's a lot of negatives, but we're talking about fitting players into, like, we're trying to win a title now. Our foundation is set. We've got the offensive line needs a couple of pieces. We've got the quarterback. We know what the receivers are going to be. We know what the defense is. And they brought back basically everybody. Yeah. They brought back LVE. They brought back Dono. They brought back they didn't cut J-Lou. They brought back Hankins. Like, they know the defense. They upgraded by bringing in Gilmore. So now, if you're going in the draft and you draft 7 offensive players, everybody is not worried about the defense at all. We're sitting there going, we're good. You can sign a veteran or 2 here or there, but we know the defense is going to be solid, going into 2023.
Yeah.
And so you put Hyatt out there, and this is Jason Garrett nailed it. You can't single cover him. If you don't put a safety over the top of Hyatt, you're just going to send him deep every single play on some kind of fake and go, stutter and go, slant and go, just a straight dig. If they try to play up on you on a play action, you're just going to send them, and then you're going to go, okay, what are you going to do? Because I got CeeDee Lamb. I got Brandon Cooks. I got Jake Ferguson and Hendershot. I got Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. Like, what do you want to do? And that type of guy, I honestly don't care if he's never thrown a ball in a game. Just him taking the top off is going to open so much up underneath. It would be a huge difference. The shell coverages are so much more difficult when you have a guy that can beat you deep for TDs every time, because you have to really play deep shell. And that opens up the underneath, and now your linebackers are covering more area. It's just more difficult.
Yeah, just keep the defenses honest, and then once he gets behind the guy, if he's wide open, then you take that money shot.
Yes, and then how many times are teams going to play back off him in single coverage when they're like, okay, we got to double this guy, and then you just run the stupid curl play that they did 100 times. You run that for Hyatt. You go, hey, Hyatt, if he plays off you, if you start to run and he backs up, just stop at the first down. And he's going to pick up so many first downs just doing that.
Yeah. And then, like you mentioned, if we do decide to get rid of Brandon Cooks after year 1, then we have Hyatt, the guy who's going to be able to do the same thing.
Yep. He's the guy, and he becomes that guy. And then you still have Lamb, and then Gallup, hopefully, is third. And you're ready to roll.
Yes, sir. You mentioned the tight ends, Mike, maybe taking one at 26, like a Dalton Kincaid. But do the Cowboys really need an upgrade at tight end?
Need. No, I think Henderson and Ferguson and McKeon will be fine as the 3 guys.
Yes,
they can all play special teams. They seem to have potential. And if they get in the room and can find themselves open, Dak will find you on the third downs when he needs to. Hendershot gives you a little bit more of a big play. Jake Ferguson gives you a little bit more of a yak guy than Dalton. So they're fine there. But would I be against drafting a Dalton Kincaid, Darnell Washington at 26? I would not. I'm trying to get people to help the offense. Yeah. Dalton Kincaid helps the offense. He helps the offense better than a lot of the receivers would. I mean, he is just a masterclass at wide receiver. He just happens to play tight end. That's it. Kuhn's probably a little later, but those are the 2. Like, if you're asking me who do I want to draft, it would be Wright or Kincaid, because I think Wright helps you elitely in the run game and has the possibility of being impactful in the past. And Kincaid, he'd probably be your third best pass catcher right out of the gate. I mean, CeeDee Lamb cooks Kincaid. I would put Kincaid over Gallup. Kincaid is that type of weapon.
Okay, we're at pick 26. It's Will McDonald, Steve Avila, Dalton Kincaid. Who are you taking?
Kincaid. I have Kincaid as a first-round grade. And he just got his medicals cleared. And a lot of people that don't want a tight end will lean on that. Oh, but his back, football players never get better when they have a back thing. And I'm like, yes, but he was just cleared, and anybody at any hit can do that. Well, they all have back issues. Like he was fully cleared. So I'm not worried about that. It's the end of the first round. I'm trying to help Dak Prescott. Dalton Kincaid is a weapon in the passing game.
You mentioned weapons. I feel like Peyton Hendershot is being overlooked. What do you think?
It's funny because not by Dallas. According to Brian Broaddus I can't remember if it's the break or the draft shows, but he says that the Cowboys see Hendershot as the tight end 1 and Ferguson as the blocking yak type tight end 2 guy. The inline tight end 2, and Hendershot's the more the tight end 1 big play, the guy you'd put your money on.
Man, that's encouraging that these 30 visits and then having that thought and the last couple of drafts. Man, it's nice to see the direction of where this team is headed.
Yeah, I like the idea that the first 3 of the first 4 picks are likely offensive because this draft needs it. Look at how they rebuilt the defense in basically one draft. Yeah. They can do that with the offense. The offense is not that far off.
No, it's really not. You mentioned playmakers, Mike. I mean, what would a guy like Avila, would you consider him a playmaker just because of what he would be able to bring to that offensive line?
He's not quote unquote a playmaker, but would he help the offense? Absolutely. And if you gave me all the options, Hyatt at 26, Kincaid at 26, or a trade back into the 35 to 40 range in Avila, I'd take the Avila because I think overall, if the offensive line is great, Dak will be great. It's when the offensive line can't open holes in the run game and can't protect a 4-man rush. That's when Dak really struggles.
I know you said it earlier, but Dallas is probably in need of one more playmaker to be in the same conversation with San Francisco, Philly. How many more playmakers do you think Dallas needs to be in that conversation?
1. I think they need 1 offensive lineman. You'd want the guard, because then you just strap them in. But if somehow some left tackle became available and you had to move Tyler Smith inside, that's fine. Or a right tackle became available, and I don't know. I don't believe Steele could play left guard. I just don't think he's big enough. But if they worked it out to where the line was good, that's good. But I would want 1 playmaker, and that could be a Kincaid catching the ball, a Hyatt deep threat, type wide receiver, a Marvin Mims more all around receiver, or even a running back to pair with Pollard in a chain. Or if I'm saying that right, even that type of weapon could help out. They just need another threat out there.
You mentioned A-Chain. Do you think he would be the best fit with Pollard, or do you like a guy like Gibbs, maybe a Tajay Spears, or who do you like there?
To pair with Pollard?
Yeah. Okay,
so to pair with Pollard, I think I would like Miller from TCU. I would like Roshan Johnson.
Yeah, Texas.
Where's he from?
Texas, University of Texas.
Thank you, Texas. I would like those guys. Or Charbonnet, who's had a lot of carries on him, so he's going to be one of those guys that, after that 4 years, you probably let him go. So I don't know if you want to use pick 58 on him, but I have no problem doing it because he's the Zeke. He's basically the Zeke type of runner, Mm-hmm. He's going to be inside the tackles more. He's going to take a lot of punishment. He'll probably get worse every year in the league, but he'll still be good. And if you're getting a Pollard replacement or keeping Pollard, that would be a nice way to do it. You know, if you were going to re-sign Pollard to a 3-year deal, you get a Zach Charbonnet type, the UCLA kid. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. And you make him be the banger and the workhorse, and you let Pollard be his normal 15 carries, 17, 18 touches a game, and you work it like that, even though Pollard gets the money. Overall, the backfield money is not going to be that bad because you have one of them being a rookie.
So is there a running back, though, like let's say if Pollard were to miss time or he's slow recovering, that you think could be not just compliments of Pollard, but take over a full workload?
Charbonnet or Bijan would be the two workload guys. I wouldn't have Gibbs. Isn't really a workload guy. He's more of a Pollard type.
Yeah.
Miller could be. I think Roshan Johnson even is a splits carries guy. Spears a splits carries guy. You know,
they had Zach Evans in for 30. He's probably a splits carry guy too.
He's a splits carries guy too. We're talking somebody, if you need somebody to be a Henry or a Zeke, right. That's your Charbonnet, that's your Bijan.
I got you. All right, Mike, here we are with your views from the sidelines. You know, I imagine working with Cowboys Wire, kind of, talking with Katie Drummond have your relationship with Not to Be Trite. You might have a beat on some, maybe some rumblings of what's going on inside the Cowboys organization. Have you heard anything about who or what they like at pick 26 as of today, during this process?
I have heard that that they like Kincaid, that Kincaid would definitely be a possibility at 26. I heard they like O-line. I think Avila would be the kind of we got wiped out of everything option, and we don't want to risk trading back. But the thing that I'm really that I can't say it's confirmed, but that a trade back is a very big possibility. They want more than 7. Yeah, they want more than 7 picks. They would like somewhere between 8 and 10 picks. And so a trade back that got you a 3rd and a 6th into, say, the middle 30s, drop back 10 picks, pick up a 3rd and a 6th.
Okay.
Maybe a 3rd and a 5th if you're lucky, depending on who drops to you. I think it's very possible. And then if they get into that range, the first pick is almost guaranteed to be a pass catcher or an offensive lineman, no matter where they take their first pick. But if you made me put my money down, I would say they trade back and take Avila.
I like to hear you say that because it makes me think they don't have their heart set on just one guy, that they like a few guys and they're willing to take their chances. And if, maybe Avila gets drafted a couple of picks ahead of them, that they're not going to panic and just take a guard, that they're going to be like, okay, well, we're going to build this thing, but we've got some guys that we can, that we believe in, that might not be as good as Avila, but, that can help us in other ways.
Yeah, I'd also say the Bijan stuff is a lot of it keeps Cowboys in the news.
Yes.
Dallas is very good at understanding like value of the draft.
Right.
So if you don't get wide receiver, edge, or O-line early, it dwindles down a little bit. Whereas tight end, running back extend a little bit. So even though I've heard Kincaid, he's a little bit different type of tight end. There's not many of the pass catching weapons like that, but the other types last a little bit longer. And the running backs last. So I do believe Dallas, being one of the teams that's good at assessing, pick value, is going to be more running back in rounds 3-4 than they are running backs in round 1-2.
Well, based on that kind of takes away this one word that I had drawn up tonight.
No,
Mike.
Do it.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they won't take him. Maybe Jerry gets hyped up about jersey sales and says,
hey,
this is the guy.
I mean, at that pick, Mike, I'll go ahead and say it. One word, Mike. Give me one word. Dallas trades back to pick 32 and drafts Bijan Robinson. How are you feeling?
Disappointed would be my word. Two reasons. One is the running back value in the draft that I just mentioned. Like, you can get valuable running backs 3rd, 4th round.
Yes.
And you just can't. Other positions, there's not a lot of it. And
Right.
so I would rather get different spots early. And the other reason is the 5th-year option is not great anymore, especially at running back. If you make a Pro Bowl, your 5th-year option becomes like a transition tag.
Mm-hmm.
If you make 2 Pro Bowls, your 5th-round option becomes a franchise tag money. And so now you're talking about Bijan Robinson, a guy that could definitely make a Pro Bowl with the hype in Dallas and
my goodness, yeah,
and how they want to run the ball. That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
And so he makes a Pro Bowl in 2 of his first 3 years. And now the 5th-year option is franchise tag money that you got to pay the running back. Like, no. And so then you're probably thinking, do we want to lose him or do we want to re-sign him and try to extend him another 3 years so that we avoid that? And
soften the blow.
Yeah, now you got another running back in years 7 and 8 making too much money. So, yeah, I'd be disappointed just in a team building if that was the play.
For me, Mike, I would be concerned because of, Bijan's talked about a top 10 pick. If he were to fall all the way to pick 32, I'd be like, is there some character issues? Is there an unknown? Did a medical report come out that there's something wrong with the knee, the foot? You know what I mean? I would actually be concerned.
Yeah. Yep. That's another thing.
Well, hey, man, it was good to get back to just the two of us, man. This was a good conversation tonight.
I agree, man. And we almost got it under an hour. A little bit too much food early.
Yeah, hey, that's true. I mean, only 2 minutes, but also we wanted to make sure to show love to Jason Garrett and to Jordan, man. Got to make sure that when they leave comments, man, that we show love and try to get to their comments when we can. Okay, let's see here. Arkansas has a running back that Jerry Jones knows personally, Raheem Sanders, who's an absolute stud coming out in 2024. Don't be surprised if Jerry's fixated on him for 2024.
It's funny, Jerry Jones only drafted 2 guys out of Arkansas ever.
Felix Jones.
And then Ridgeway, right?
Yeah, Mr. John Ridgeway. Yes. What could have been, Mike?
So don't think Jerry's looking there too often.
No, yeah, true that. Well, Mike, we try to keep it under an hour, but like you mentioned, the food talk, it always gets the best of us. While we're getting you out of here, remind the people they can find you on Twitter.
CD Piglet, guys. Letter C, letter D, Piglet. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Jason, Jordan, everybody else, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.